You may not be doing it, but we're doing it. We're eating out of our garden for 31 days, and we're halfway there, and we want to give you an update. And if you don't care, you should care, because that's what we grow food for, is to eat, right? Right here on the Backyard Gardens podcast, Minisode.
To have a good harvest, one must plant good seeds and must also use the right kind of fertilizer. The carrots have grown large and firm. How good they will taste.
Welcome to the Backyard Gardens podcast, where we talk about all things gardening and give the information out for you to be successful in your garden, whether it's your first or your last. We are your hosts, Ben, the backyard gardener, and
Batavia, the front yard gardener.
one in the country,
One in the city.
Now get ready as we dig deep into this wonderful world of gardening, as we learn to grow and grow for change. Batavia, are you starving to death yet?
Today I am.
Yeah, we're going a little over today, but in general, are you starving to death yet?
No, in general I am not.
When you stood up, did your pants fall off?
No, dude, but I'm going to wait for the big, way off. I wait myself on day one, and I'm expecting to be pleasantly surprised, damn it.
Yeah, I am. So low key, I am hoping that I lose. Because I want to lose more weight than I have. And typically I gain weight in the summer because I'm more active and I'm eating more. But it's a win-win.
Yeah, but low-key, I'd like to lose the challenge, which means that I will lose
more
weight. Yeah, that's my intent too.
So for the record, this 100% needs to be a full episode, but we got to give you an update. So we're going to try and squeeze it in about 14 more minutes. So wish us luck. But... what are your meals like so far?
Week one, meals were big. Like the entire plate was covered. Week two.
Was it a dessert plate or a dinner plate?
It's good. I used to have a great
Because I know how that shit works.
Yeah. She for sure would eat out of a saucer, but go back multiple times.
Yeah. A slivel is the same as a whole cake once you get slivel after slivel after slivel.
It was only 8 pieces of pie. Who would ever eat a whole pie? So the first week I was going hard in the paint, man. You know, I shared a couple of pictures, so if you saw those. The second week it was a cantaloupe just fell. I shall eat that for lunch. So it's been, I've been all over the board.
Mono-mealing, there's nothing wrong with that now. I have done that a lot in my life. I mean, I sat down the other day and I ate 3 peppers. Just back to back to back, and there's nothing wrong with mono-mealing. So don't sleep on that. But
wait, what is mono-mealing? Like
just eating a cantaloupe. And that's it. Mono, one, one
singular.
thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a level of ease that does that. So I typically do that if I go somewhere tropical because all the fruit is fresh. So there's usually a meal where it's I'm going to eat all them mangoes. Thank you. So mangoes are my jam if you didn't know. I wish I had a mango tree this week or this month. Just saying. I'm missing fruit pretty bad though. I will admit that.
I actually have stumbled upon, quite literally, tripped over some fruit. Some better than others. I've had some melons because I'm growing them vertically, that have said enough and jumped off of the trellis. I've been able to... I've repeated a couple of things, not full meal wise, but kind of some of the sides. The one thing I noticed going back to the first week though, I felt like I was preparing a whole smorgasbord or something. I was unconsciously filling up my plate for fear of being hungry later. And then I realized that this is just lunch. It's not supposed to be Thanksgiving dinner. So I was okay with going a little bit lighter the second week.
Yeah, so I make meal plans typically, and all of my meals are evenly spaced out based on the activity that I do. So, I've been surfing a lot, and I know a lot of people, if you don't surf or never have surfed, which a lot of people haven't, you don't realize how incredibly difficult it is. And the way I tell people when they say they want to learn is imagine swimming as hard as you can and then doing a burpee while flying down a wave and bumping around and then squatting and standing up and squatting constantly. So it's very hard. And when I come home, I need to eat. You know, I need to rebuild so I can go do my next session the next day. And I've had to look in my cupboard and say, I cannot eat this. I have to wait. I have to do this. And that's made it difficult. So the way I have my meals spaced out and planned is very methodical, and it's throwing that for a loop. And that's making it difficult.
Yeah, that's a really good note to make. I think and I'm going to petition for this next year. Probably the biggest struggle is been eating this meal at what I deem is appropriate for lunchtime, right?
Yeah.
Like if I ate a garden meal at 9:00, I would just mentally be more satisfied, you know, needing to kind of push that meal off to the point where, okay, it's somewhere between 11 and 3. That's my lunch hour, you know?
Yeah.
That's been a little bit difficult, but it's not garden related. That's just my thing.
Yeah, I've definitely skipped 2 meals. One of them I just didn't feel like eating. It's not unheard of sometimes if I'm not doing anything. We had like a period of rain for a week. Mm-hmm. So this is the third time we've recorded this, and I forgot to tell you this part. We had a rain for a week, so all tomatoes split. Mm-hmm. Things stopped producing. I couldn't get out in the garden. So then I was really left with like, what's going on? But I spent 2 days where I was sedentary. So that kind of worked out because I was like, all right, if there's a meal to cut back on, it would be this meal. And now, go ahead.
Does that mean that you had breakfast and dinner and you're basically saying you skipped that second meal? Okay.
Yeah. So, and one day I went out there and it was so hot while I was working that I just did not feel like eating. Mm-hmm. And that is not unheard of either. I mean, like today, for instance, it's 103 degrees. So as soon as we get done here, I have to go down and wet down my plants so they cool off and try and get them to produce more. But we were able to get our carrots and stuff like that. So I've got pounds and pounds of carrots. So I'm good on that, but brother's eyesight's pretty good already. I don't need to be having X-ray vision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One of the things that I've realized I felt the best. I haven't been surfing or doing anything extreme when it comes to activity, but I felt the best when I had breakfast, had a lunch from the garden, and then had something small for dinner. And that's not normally, I don't normally eat 3 meals a day.
Right.
And it's not intentional. It's just kind of the way things end up happening, and it becomes a pattern, right? And so the days that I've not had breakfast, and most important meal of the day, and kind of folded into lunch, haven't been like the best tasting, the best thought out, you know?
Yeah.
So that's one benefit. It's been a reminder of, you know, not waiting until getting up at 5 and waiting until 2:00 to actually consume something. Yeah.
For me, it would be tough if my whole family was doing it. It would not, I would definitely be probably, let's see, if I did my lunch, I would probably be 10 pounds down at the end of the month if it wasn't for that. Just because, you know, there's not enough to sustain 3 people coming out of the garden unless you find very creative ways to cook things. Yeah. So that being said, next February, you bet your bottom dollar you're going to see my ass out in the garden planting potatoes. Yeah. Because next year when we do this, I'm going to have potatoes to eat.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's really, I mean, because this all spurred, and everybody, if you don't know what we're talking about, go back and you have to follow the story. So you have to go back and listen to the diversity episode and then go listen to the one where we kind of talk about, I don't know what the name of it is. I forget that we talk about this challenge, and all this came from the diversity episode to see how diverse are our gardens to sustain a diet. And one of our previous takes, I'm going to go ahead and push you to say it, Batavia. What was it that you said about your food from your garden?
Yeah. So I have always grown food, no matter how big my garden or how small my garden has been, to add something to my plate, right? You know, so I'm going to add this one thing to my plate. And this challenge is clearly, it's made it clear to me that I can make an entire meal out of things I'm growing and be satisfied. Now, the thing is that I didn't, and it takes some consideration. I've only been able to do so much of that based on the things I've been growing. So that has like, it's blown like my top off and said, I'm going to completely, and when I say completely, there are changes to come to next year's garden because I do want to eat more meals versus like a piece of this or a piece of that.
Yeah. Did you see my Instagram stories the other day? Have you seen what I got recently?
No, I don't think so.
You didn't see my little baby chicks I got?
Oh, yeah.
You know why we got those? That wasn't the other day.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
No, we got those 2 days ago. So I was eating the challenge, and I've been eating eggs when I need to eat them for the proteins and stuff like that. And we have 6 chickens. One of them is brain injured from a raccoon attack, still alive, doing well. Another one is getting too old to lay. So long story short, we're getting 3 to 4 eggs a day. And most people in my house eat 2. I eat 3 eggs at a time. So we don't get enough. And I told my wife, she went to go get some chicken food. And I was like, yeah. She's like, they got chicks. And I was like, hook it up, get some more because we need to get them because that's a big part of it. And the eggs have really been a true treat through all of this. If I had some potatoes, I would be having eggs and hash browns.
Baby.
And I would be singing up in this bitch, singing songs. Everybody would be dancing with me. So
I am rocking in my chair. I think give me 2 things that you have eaten repeatedly from the challenge.
Like just 2 vegetables or 2 meals?
Either. And I'll follow your lead.
Well, I've been eating all the same vegetables, really. I've been eating stir-fried, which is very quickly, because we're running out of time, eggplants, green tomatoes, green beans, Jimmy Nordella peppers with a jalapeno fried on the side. And I've had that twice, and it's about to be a 3rd time because I thoroughly enjoy it.
So a meal that's been repeated in my days of eating from the garden, it has been like a stewed version of some leafiness for my garden. So the first time, I'm trying to think of what it was. It's collards. So I didn't do the traditional cooking of them. Like I stewed them. I actually added some coconut milk. Second time were rutabaga and beet leaves, where I cooked them in that same way. Different taste. I use some different seasonings. The third way I'm going to cook today is going to be chard. And I'm going to cook it in the same way. I have some onions. They're small, but some onions from the garden. Saute that. Saute a little bit of garlic. And then add those leafy greens. Once they cook down with some water, then I start to season and kind of top it off with some coconut milk. And it gives you that creamy flavor.
So just for the record, and I want everybody to hear this, I'm not judging, but coconut milk is a little on the line of cheating. Just so you know.
I don't think so. It's a condiment.
No, it is not. You don't get it on a bottle and squirt it on. It's canned. It comes from a plant and it's grown. But that's okay. You do. You be you.
I'm gonna roll with that. At least one more meal.
look at the nutrition on it, and just think about it. That's all I got to say. But I've been frying food too, and I'm okay with that because it adds to the caloric intake. I typically do not like to fry things, but it kind of is what it is. And I was going to say that preserved foods, if you're not preserving, you need to. I haven't really ever said that, but this has really brought to life like how much I can enjoy from my garden from the previous year in a time like this is awesome. It's there's nothing like I don't have any butternut squash growing this year, and I've eaten 2, and I will eat more. So, if you're not preserving something, try and find a way to do something, freeze something if you have to. I had fried okra yesterday too. I forgot to say that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so from last year's garden.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was just looking at at least half of the meals so far.
30 seconds.
Had some food that was preserved. Good night.
I told you this is supposed to be a full episode. So, everybody, this is our story, and we are halfway there. So follow along and wait for the episode to come. You're going to hear probably a couple episodes about this challenge because it's been super important in my gardening journey, and I don't know about Batavia's, but until next time.
It has been. See ya.
A lot of y'all asked, how can you help support the Backyard Gardens podcast? Well, we have been busy, and we have created a t-shirt line just for the gardener.
To visit our shop, go to the link in the show notes and check out the t-shirts and other goodies we have.
Now, these are super special t-shirts designed just for the gardener, so enjoy. Thank you for supporting the Backyard Gardens podcast, and we'll see you guys after the harvest. Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you want to see what we're up to or just stay up to date on all the announcements regarding the show or anything gardening, then you can follow us on Instagram at Backyard Gardens TV.
We love seeing what you guys are doing, so use hashtag BYG podcast in your posts, and we'll be sharing your gardens with the Backyard Gardens community.
And check us out on YouTube at Backyard Gardens, where we will post this show, all of our other shows, clips, and then also some gardening tips and just gardening entertainment. And you can see us at our website at backyardgardenstv.com. But that's it for today's show. So help us as we learn to grow and grow for change. And until next time, we'll catch you guys later. We'll call this one a wrap.
Now you know why people feel like celebrating at harvest time.
All over the world, people have feasting and good times when the crops have been gathered in.